Looking to take you and your real estate business to the next level? You're in the right place. Laying foundations for real estate success? This is the No Fluff, No BS podcast about real estate for real estate agents and other industry professionals looking to up their game. Unfiltered short-form sales meetings, interviews with agents from every walk of life, and ramble sessions about everything real estate. Welcome to a new mindset. You are listening to RERAW. And now, introducing your host, James Hoff. Welcome to your first weekly RERAW sales meeting. Thank you so much for tuning in. We've got the most efficient short-form sales meetings in 20 minutes or less, and we're on a ticking clock, so I'm not going to waste any time. In today's sales meeting, it is only fitting that we start our relationship together talking about our goals. Goal setting is one of the key foundational practices that you must have in your business to be successful. And not only do most agents do it wrong, most agents actually don't even set goals. So we're going to talk about when to set them, why to set them, how to set them, and then I'm going to fill you in on a key little secret about why setting 3 goals is more important than anything else, and how setting 3 goals is going to change your business. We're going to hop into that in just a minute, but first, a quick word from one of our sponsors. Hey everyone, it's your host James from RERAW. Did you know that one of the most important parts of running your real estate business like a business is having a budget, tracking your expenses, and knowing and understanding where your money is actually going? But if you're like me, getting bogged down with the budget can be frustrating and taxing on the time you should be spending generating leads and working with your clients. This is why I use RealtyZam. RealtyZam is the best accounting software for real estate agents, hands down. And no joke, I've personally used this product for over 3 years. Not only do I love it, but my CPA thanks me every tax season. It works great on the computer, or they've got an awesome app that you can download right to your smartphone. Customize your expense categories, store receipts, track income and expenses, and assign them to specific transactions so you know your actual margins. RealtyZam is amazing, intuitive, and efficient. See your results by category, month, quarter, or annually, and track your progress from year to year. And the best part, not only can I give you a free trial, but when you do start paying for this software, you can actually get it for under $10 a month. And even that is tax deductible. So get your numbers straight and stop letting the accounting be a distraction when you can take it all in stride. Visit RERAW.com/ZAM and get a 30-day free trial, no credit card required. Again, that's RERAW.com/ZAM. That's RERAW.com/ZAM. All right. Welcome back. We are talking about everything goal setting today. So first, I want to tap into the 3 mistakes that real estate agents make when setting goals. Number 1, real estate agents don't set goals. Most agents don't set a goal, and I cannot imagine trying to run a business without having a goal in mind. Crazy to me. Number 2, when agents do set goals, they oftentimes don't add up. So the agent may be unclear on whether they're setting their goals based on gross commission or adjusted gross commission. They may be setting goals saying, I want to do 30 transactions and make $1 million. But in actuality, to make $1 million, they would have to do 300 transactions. So the goals are out of sync. They don't add up. Okay, so that's the second big thing, is the goals don't add up. And the third biggest mistake is that an agent only sets one goal if they set a goal at all. You cannot set only one goal. You must set a minimum of 3 goals. We're going to talk about that in just a moment. When I first got into the business, I guess it was going into my 2nd year, maybe my 3rd. I feel like it was going into my 2nd year. I'm sitting at a desk out in the bullpen of the brokerage I was at the time, and I'm crunching numbers. I got papers spread out everywhere, and I'm going over my stuff, getting ready for the following year. It was in the middle of Q4 and just kind of lining things up, evaluating, looking at numbers, analyzing. And I had an agent come up to me in passing and ask what I was doing. I said, well, I'm planning out for the next year. I'm setting my goals. And the agent looked at me, said, you do this every year?
And I kind of thought it was a joke at first. And I looked up at the agent. I said, yeah, do you not? And he says, do you know I've been in business for 25 years, James, and I've never once set a goal? And all I could think to myself was maybe that's why he's still in business. You know, lucky, first of all, that he's in business at all because he didn't set a goal. But maybe that's why he's still working, because he never set a goal. He never had a plan. He never had a target to chase so that one day he could retire and stop working and stop playing that game, right? So goal setting is unbelievably important. Let's talk about it. Let's get right down to things, okay? I do things a little different. It's my belief that it doesn't matter just in real estate, but across any business that you're running, you have to have at least 3 goals. Okay, your need, your want, and your reach. I'll say it again. Your need, your want, and your reach. Those are the 3 goals that you must set. Now, do not confuse your need and your want. Most people think that the goal that they want to achieve is the goal that they need to achieve. So, quickly for 2 different types of agents. Number 1, if you're just starting out, your need goal, okay? If you have no track record, no history, your need goal, if you're just starting out, is the amount of money that you need to make to cover your expenses, to pay your bills. Okay? Now, be very, very clear when you're setting your goals. Again, is it gross commission or net? Adjusted gross commission. So what you take home after your broker splits and your fees. Okay? Most of the time we talk about gross commission, but the money that matters is the adjusted. It's the net, right? So that's the number that you should be looking at. What do you need to take home? Okay, and then we're going to figure out what you got to gross to ultimately get that dollar. So if you're a new agent, your need should be the amount of money that you need to take home to cover your expenses, pay your bills, and not go out of business. Okay, that's your need. If you're an experienced agent, you have 2 options. You can either do what the new agents do, which is this is the amount of money that I need. It's the non-negotiable. You need to make this much money, okay, to cover your expenses and pay your bills. Or you can look at your previous year's number and set the need to be at least what you did the year before, because we are always trying to grow and promote growth in our business. So I like to set my goal, my need, based on what I did the previous year so that I'm always chasing something higher, okay? Now, the want is ultimately what you want to make. It's what you want to take home at the end of the day. It would be more ideal. You'd put a little bit into savings and your business would experience growth. If you're an experienced agent, you're doing more than you did the last year. It's your want number for your growth, right? And then the last number is your reach. Gosh, if I had a really great year, I'd love to hustle to this last number. It's your reach goal, okay? So your need covers your expenses. Your want is what you ideally would want to make, and your reach goal is that one that you're chasing at the end, okay? Now, you can have more goals. If you achieve one, I encourage you to go and set another, okay? So you always have 3 active goals. The reason we do this, think to yourself why. Why would we set 3 goals instead of 1? See, my job is to help you get out of this mode of complacency that you're sitting in. We want to get away from becoming complacent. It's too often that an agent hits their goal by June or July, and then they sit around patting themselves on the back, congratulating themselves on how awesome they are, thinking, man, I did it. This is great, and the rest is gravy. Well, it's not. Because in this business, we have a roller coaster ride, right? The market's not consistent. Sometimes it's unpredictable when it drops and we're all in deep you know what. So there's no extra gravy. You should be making as much as you can all the time so that when it does hit the fan, you've got a little buffer. You can get through those slow months, the times where you unpredictably fall out of escrow because the house was ready to fall over and you didn't see that on the front end, or a few of your listings are on the market for longer than you anticipated. It's not all gravy. Setting 3 goals is important because it takes away the complacency. I'm not suggesting you don't celebrate the win. If you hit your need, sure, take yourself out to a nice steak dinner, crack open that bottle of wine and enjoy yourself for a minute. But when you wake up the next day, get back to work. This is sales, folks. In sales, every day you start from zero. Nobody cares what you did yesterday. Every single day you start from zero. That paycheck that you made before doesn't matter. It's all about what you're doing right now. So setting 3 goals helps you make certain that you're not falling into this mode of complacency because you're always chasing the next goal. Okay, so now you understand the importance of setting 3 goals. The next thing you have to keep in mind is your actual numbers. You have to have real numbers and real data to be able to come up with your goals. Okay, so 2 different kinds of agents. If you're a brand new agent, then what I want you to do is base all of your numbers off of the average sale price that you see in the market that you're targeting. So if you have a geographical farm, look at the average sale price of the homes in that farm over the course of the last year, and you're going to base your numbers on that, your sales numbers on that. Okay? If you're an experienced agent, if you have a year to look back on, then I want you to go add up your entire sales volume for the last year and divide it by the total number of transactions or sides that you did, and then you're going to get your average dollar amount per transaction, your average sale price per transaction. Okay? Then what I want you to do is I want you to determine what the average commission percentage was that you made in the last year. Was it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1.2, 3.1, 2.7, whatever it was? Figure out what the average percent of commission was on a per transaction basis. Okay? And then you're going to start being able to figure out exactly what it is that you have to make. How many deals you actually have to do to achieve your goal. So remember, these are gross numbers, okay? So you're looking at gross numbers. So you've got to keep in mind that at the end of this, you're going to want to put some money aside for whatever your broker split is or your per transaction fees that you have or a cap if you have a cap structure and you want to make sure that you're keeping some money aside for Uncle Sam because he's going to want to get paid too, all right? But you've got to base it on real numbers. And then at the end, you can figure out not only how many transactions you have to do, but you know the average home price that you need to be targeting. And what's cool is as you go through your year, you're going to be able to look at your numbers and say, gosh, my average sale price has gone up. Or I can improve my average commission rate on a lower sales price and make just as much, if not more money. So now you can start finding holes and gaps and figure out where you can adjust your business to give yourself a raise without necessarily doing more transactions. You can find your points of weakness and fix them. Okay, the last thing I want to talk about when it comes to goal setting in our first sales meeting is I want to make sure that as you're tracking your goals over the course of a year, that you keep in mind the seasonality of the business. The reason I say that is because so often we look at our goals and maybe at the end of the first quarter, we think we're really behind. I'll give you an example. If I set my goal and said, I'm going to do $10 million worth of business, divide that by 4 quarters, that's $2.5 million per quarter. But I don't do 25% of my business in each quarter. In fact, it doesn't break down even close to that. Typically, my quarters lay out about 10% in Q1, 40% in Q2, 10% in Q3, and 40% in Q4. In fact, I've done as much as 53% of my total annual business in Q4 alone in years past. Okay? So what you need to do if you are a brand new agent, talk to an experienced agent and ask them, find out where the bulk of these transactions happen. You can actually look up some of the statistics on the MLS and kind of get a feel for where the bulk of transactions are closing. But if you're an experienced agent, look at your previous year and figure out where did you do the majority of your business. The reason, again, is because if I have a $10 million goal, but I only do 10% of my business in the first quarter, so that's $1 million in sales volume, right? And I get halfway through Q1 and I've already done $1 million, then I've hit my goal. I'm pacing ahead of schedule. That's great. Now, again, I don't want to get complacent because maybe the market's just being a little funky or I had a run of good luck. It does not allow me to offset my second quarter goal, but what it does is it gives me something that's trackable. Now I know, great, I'm pacing well for the first quarter. But in Q2, I know that I don't have to do $2.5 million in Q2. I got to do $4 million in Q2 to stay on pace for my goal. So it's just important that you understand the way the seasonality of the business fluctuates in your market and for your specific business, so that not only are you setting goals, but you're setting goals that are trackable. And again, as you're tracking those goals, now that you've set them based on real numbers with real commission percentages, you can actually start seeing where there's room for improvement. So that's our session today, everybody. That is our sales meeting here on week 1 of our RERAW weekly sales meetings. I thank you so much for tuning in. Keep in mind how important it is to set goals. If you've already set goals for this year and you've only set one, I encourage you to revisit them. Change your mindset, try this new strategy, implement it right away, and just get back to business. Remember something, real agents work. You need to be one of them. Have an amazing week, and we'll see you next time.